Welcome to the RIP 28 podcast. Welcome to the RIP 28 podcast. This is a podcast where a few good friends can get together and talk about a few good things. Sometimes we're going to talk about some things that you like. Sometimes we're going to talk about some things that you don't like. But we're going to keep on talking about them on the RIP 28 podcast. I am your humble host, Sly Williams. I'm joined by a couple of my good friends, my good buddies. And we got two special guests. We'll get to them later. But first, we want to start off in the top left. What's going on, my man, all the way out in Arkansas? What's going on, C-Nez?
Hey, Arkansas for a limited time, baby. But boy, Chance Nesbitt, man, ready to get the show going. It should be an interesting one. Pretty excited about it.
Salt Man, how you doing out there, Salt?
I'm gravy, baby. You know, it's your man Salt, ready to get into another topic with the boys and maybe some females.
All right. How about it, JK, the doctor?
Hey, it's good being on here again, breaking bread, my guys, once again. Good weekend. My Tigers won. It's always a good weekend when they win. They dominate again this year.
Where's the mute button?
Tigers.
and his wife let him get on the podcast with some girls.
and down on the bottom, we got the educator's educator. What's going on, LBZ?
Man, you know it's Beezy the Great, the educator's educator. Just here to educate some more people. Not only my boys today, but I see some ladies on the podcast today besides Sylvester. So let's get it started.
Wow, bro, I'm gonna have to work this mute button for real today. All right, now you know two of the fellas have alluded to it. This will be the first time on the RIP 28 podcast that we have some ladies coming on as guests today to talk a little bit with us. We have two people that I've known for a long time. They're a little bit younger than me. One of them I knew when she was a little snot-nosed little girl running behind her big brother. But now she's a grown woman. We start off with Stacy Nelson. How you doing, Stacy?
I'm great. How about you?
I'm doing great. Glad to have you here. And we got her bestie, her best friend ever right here, Regina. What's going on, Regina? You doing all right?
I am. Hi, everybody.
EFFs.
Hey, now, a lot of y'all wondering, y'all know that the RIP 28 podcast is a space where the brothers can talk and say, hey, what y'all doing with the ladies on today? Well, we got a kind of issue, man, something going on in our community, man, that's affecting us, affecting the ones we love. And it's the treatment of Black women. Let's be honest. You know, you hear a lot of stuff going on and you see stuff going on, especially with the Say Her Name movement. Breonna Taylor, most recently, you see this going on. And a lot of women, a lot of sisters feel unprotected, maybe unloved or uncared for by the brothers, you know, unrespected by the brothers. And so now we as the RIP 28, you know, we have a lot of solutions. We talk about a lot of different things, but one thing we don't do a lot, we don't listen. So what we wanted to do, we sat together as a group and we decided, well, why not? Let's go and ask a couple of sisters. Let's ask them, how do they feel about us as Black men? What can we as Black men do to better protect and respect our sisters? So the fellas got a few questions. I have a few questions, and we just want to learn today. You know, we like to teach on the RIP 28 podcast, so now we're gonna teach a little bit differently. So who wants to start? Who wants to jump in there first with something to ask the ladies? Go ahead, C-Nez.
All right, I'll go ahead. All right, ladies, I got a serious question. My first one is, do you think Black women allow us as Black men to protect you or take care of you a lot of times?
We would love for it. You know, a lot of times we're seen as super independent, and that's not by choice. We did not wake up one morning and just say, I'm about to take over the whole world. I don't need nobody. No woman has ever woke up and said that. We need y'all. We want y'all, but you know, it literally become where it's like a fight to even get somebody to listen to us.
Okay. What about you, Salt? LeBron, y'all got anything?
Yeah, I'll jump in. So kind of what was mentioned. There's some, I guess, a new norm about the independent woman today. Let's talk about maybe kind of household. The male is usually kind of the breadwinner, or typically wants to be known as the breadwinner versus the wife or significant other not being the breadwinner. Is there any type of animosity or any type of jealousy that is negative or toxic in a relationship when like the female makes more money or is more of the breadwinner?
You got a smile over there, Regina. What you smiling about?
Well, that's similar to some of the situations I went through in my first marriage, where there was a shift from my husband, my now ex-husband, being the breadwinner to me earning more money than him when I got my first degree. And there definitely was a shift there, a kind of resentment, animosity. I think maybe he felt like I didn't need him as much. But in a relationship, it's not just financial. Like, finances are important. We all have to eat, we have to have somewhere to live, but that's not the only thing that I need from a partner. So that was more him projecting, his insecurity about making less money. And it did definitely add to, the detriment of the relationship.
But do you think that was brought up? Was that brought up occasionally? Like, I make more money than you.
I never brought it up because to me, we were married, so it was our money. But he would say things that let me know it bothered him.
In that type of scenario, what can us as Black men do to better support in that type of scenario?
That was a toxic scenario. I don't think there was any fix in that. In a normal relationship, though, I think that as women, we can reassure our partners that, I didn't just need you for money. It was never just about money. We're in this together. So it's kind of like the dynamic of the relationship has to be strong enough to handle that.
Okay. It's funny because we brought that topic up in one of our other podcasts. How do you deal with the situation of your woman making more money than you? And as men, we must admit, I think we kind of admit it digged in a little bit. It hurt a little feelings, but you had to keep it moving or work harder. I think the bottom line was we needed to work harder to make more money.
I agree. If you don't like it, make more money than me. I'm never going to argue with that.
Okay. Now I have another question. Me personally, how do you feel about protectors? And what I mean by protectors, I think a lot of stuff gets confused, and a lot of us men, we don't understand. Some women run around shouting, "Hey, I'm an independent woman. I don't need a man for nothing. I don't need this. I don't need that." But, as men, we're natural protectors. Now, how does that mesh? How does that mix? What can you say to these independent women, or what do you as an independent woman feel about a man protecting you, standing up, or what do we need to do as men to protect you? Anybody?
You got this one.
Excuse the darkness. I'm trying to find a coat. It's cold outside. It's more than what you can say. It's you got to do it too. Because men can say stuff, and women, people can say stuff all day long. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and then they come out in time to get doing, they don't do it. Just do it and be consistent. That is really the biggest thing. Be consistent.
Example.
Baby, I'm gonna take care of such and such, and keep at it. Just keep at it. If we're in a partnership, we're in a marriage, we're in a relationship, and we've agreed to do stuff together, just stay at it. Don't fall back. Try not, distractions aren't the hardest thing. Just try not to get distracted. Just do what you have to do. Because at the end of the day, it's more than just taking care of me as your partner. You're a whole human and adult out here too. you have to survive yourself. And, you know, you just got to do it. It's more than words. I can say words all day long.
Wow,
I
were
ain't-
you kind
I'll say I'm
of
gonna do it. It don't mean nothing.
wow, were you kind of meaning like protecting as far as like somebody talking junk to your lady and you step in ready to fight or something like that? That
That too.
kinda-
That part.
If I
I'm
got
almost
into a situation, something protect me, you know, because I personally, me as a woman, I would do the same for you. You know, in my younger days, I don't run up some folks that ran up in my ex-husband's face. And you do the same. Somebody ran in my face, we about to fight as a unit. But protect me. Protect me. And it's not that women are inferior or weak or the whole independent thing, but you know, when, for example, say we're married, we stood and put our hand on the Bible and said this is what we were going to do for each other. So if somebody has come into my way and they're meaning me harm, please protect me. That's what I expect you to do because that's what you promised me. So don't just say the words, just be consistent and do it.
All right, my question to that is, do y'all instigate that sometime? Because you know you got somebody gonna beat somebody up if you get them in that situation type of deal.
Listen,
I'm almost 40 years old. I don't remember the last time somebody has run up on me wanting to do something. I don't even know if that's a realistic situation at our age. Do people still do that?
Oh well, you
Regina,
can't.
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
you
I was going to say anything about that question.
Yeah,
Depends
you
on
can't
your
think about
social
you all
circle.
the time. But it is people out there.
It
I mean,
depends.
when I think of being protected, really, I'm sorry. When I think, I'm on the content. When I think of being protected, it's more of a feeling that I'm not alone, that somebody's by my side. It doesn't have to be like somebody's run up in my face. It could be that I'm having a bad day at work and, you know, someone's there, you know, to make me feel better and to support me, or I'm sick. And they're there to pick up the slack. You know, it's not just about having somebody who's gonna fight. Like, yeah, that's great, but neither one of us is trying to go to jail. So we're not out here fighting people, you know, but it's more than just a physical thing. It's the feeling of being able to let down my guard and really be myself, not have to always be, you know, on guard 24 hours a day, even when I'm at home.
Okay. All right. Now also, kind of working on this protection thing. Let's talk about love. One of the reasons I got Stacy on here because I follow Stacy on Facebook, and Stacy is quite the fire starter sometimes with her comments, her comments and her thoughts and actions sometimes on Facebook. And one thing she speaks about is respect. That comes up a lot. She feels, you know, I don't want to put words in her mouth, but what I read, it seems like she feels that black men don't respect black women. Now, can you expound on that? Am I judging you wrongly? Am I saying this wrong or what?
oh, you're actually spot on. And this is just what I witnessed. And it's not so much of some of it's what's happened to me personally, but a lot of, you know, just what I see, you know, lots of social commentary and things like that. And even some of the stuff happening out in the world. And, you know, even down to like Breonna Taylor and, you know, the treat, you know, first of all, nobody even knew about Breonna until Mayish. And Breonna had been dead for 2 months, and it was almost like she got swept under the rug. And it always seems like when it came down to the incidents that were happening with Black women, we were being swept under the rug. One of my biggest things that I've just been getting on my nerves recently is men who you can't be funny unless they're dragging down Black women. Recently, and in hindsight, I feel bad that I did this, but a guy made a joke. I hate fat women with regular legs. Fat Black women with regular legs. And then he posted a picture of his mama. And mama was a big woman with regular legs. So I screenshot his post and put it in his comments. It definitely be funny without dragging Black women. I used to.
That's funny though.
I used to be one of the biggest Tyler Perry. I used to love the Medea plays, but as I got older, I realized that ain't nothing but black women just the butt of people's jokes. You know,
it does feel like that a lot. Like, not to compare, but you don't really see men of other races making fun of their women on the level that black men do. Like when you get on Instagram or Instagram or like TikTok, there are countless men who are mocking black women. I guess it's kind of funny sometimes, but you know, it's like it's a lot. It's a lot, and you love
it's tiresome.
Yeah, it is hard. And media
Nothing.
Let me jump in for 1 second on that one. Let me jump in for 1 second. What you're seeing is an algorithm. You don't follow that many white people. You know what I'm saying? You follow more black people than white people. And so when you watch when you see all these videos, you don't see those same white dudes sit up there and make these funny jokes about white women too. You know, it's just more black people than white people. That's who you see more often.
Hey, I say this too.
Just confirmed that he agrees that white men do it too, and it might be the algorithm.
In the country songs, they do it too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I say this too. I think you may take it personally where they talking about a certain group of black women. Not if you not in that category, I don't think you should worry
But
about
they
it.
shouldn't talk about any of it. Oh, you
That's what
black,
people do.
blah, 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 blah. I think the most recent one that went viral was, here go your black bees on mustard yellow, olive green, navy blue as the death. It's fall. We can't like colors.
Yeah, but y'all also got
black women, but then my favorite, they love to talk about black women's attitude and stuff, and then be like, let me get me a Latina chick. Okay, so when she cuss you out and puts you in a jar, because that's what they do. They just spicy, but we black bees, and I'll never forget, I made a post on Facebook, and it's so crazy because it went viral, and it was astonishing. But the post was literally, take the stuff that y'all say to black women and write it on a piece of paper and hand it to your black mama. I got cussed out left and right.
I want to jump in real quick. A lot of stuff went, it's the respect of black women or whatever. I get upset when I hear that sisters post, black men don't respect women. They don't marry our sisters. But when you break stuff down in percentages, there are more black men married to black women, you know what I'm saying, than any other race. If you break down percentages, there are more black men married than other races when you break down percentages. But what happens, and everybody's guilty of this, the negative, the bad is highlighted more. You know what I'm saying? If you look at this panel right here, me and LeBron, the only two single guys. On the RIP 28 podcast, we got 8 people. We got 8 brothers in our group. 6 of them married, 2 of us not. Now both of us divorced,
I 100% agree with that. Like as an individual, I feel protected. Like I feel safe. I feel warm and fuzzy. I'm good over here. My worries though, I'm a mother. I have 2 sons. One will be 20 this month, the other is 12. And I have 4 daughters. My oldest daughter will be 18 in December. I have one turning 15 this month, an 8-year-old and a 2-year-old. And so I worry more for my daughters. I also worry about my son, but just growing up as a young woman, not necessarily the black part, but definitely as a young woman, feeling respected and feeling like I was able to speak up for myself. Because back when we were young, y'all know how it was when you were in the club. There was a lot of touching and grabbing and there was no consent. But in my daughter, I see it's different now. Like there's nobody who's gonna touch my daughter. She will probably break their hands, but I know that it's a different world. And I talked to my daughters about consent. I've talked to them about it since they were little. And I also talked to my sons about, where the lines, what's okay to do, how do you approach a young lady, what respect should look like. And I worry sometimes that other people don't have those conversations with their sons. So every time in the news there's a woman, like I don't know what city it was, but a girl broke up with her boyfriend. He killed her mama, shot her little brother. And I'm like, who is telling these boys how they're supposed to react when a relationship ends? So I think my worries about protection of black women isn't so much for me as it is for my daughters, and also for my son, but a lot for my daughters. Like I don't want, I want them to be okay and comfortable being in a relationship. And I want them to be comfortable ending a relationship when it needs to end, and not worrying that this guy's gonna come back and kill them, or burn the house down, or because it happens more than it should, and not just Black people, but I'm Black, so Black people are my main focus.
But do y'all think those things that y'all are speaking of are being taught in the homes? Is it being shown? Is it being displayed? So a lot of kids are going to do what they see. So if they see mom and dad act a certain way, don't you think that kind of likens or makes it more of a percentage that kid is going to act that way as opposed to what they're being told and taught?
Yes, I do. I agree. I don't know how to fix it, but I just, hope that people have the conversations with their children too. Like I said, it starts at home.
And I think that's
it's just more than a conversation. We've been having conversations about how to treat women and how to react to certain things, but now it's time for action, don't you think?
You're right about that. And, that was something that was actually a key in my divorce. I initially stayed way longer than I should have. I was staying for the kids, like, it was keep the unit together. Maybe we can work this stuff out. But then when I looked at the fact, not only did it had on me, because I was 100% miserable. But I think about it, house is good for my kids. If I'm walking around here miserable, they see their mom and daddy don't even sleep in the same room. They ain't talking to them. We was 2 ships passing in the night. And I had to think about what my kids were seeing. Even my kids were young. My daughter was 1 and my son was going on 5. It was still the principle that, say I stay up.
Stacey, you just muted yourself.
You're on mute, Stacey.
Mute.
You're on mute. Unmute yourself.
Stacey, call Stacey. Tell us
Just muted yourself.
Last
thing we heard was your kid was 5.
Okay. So yeah, somebody tried to call me. My niece tried to call me, although she's sitting 25 feet away from me. If I'd have stayed longer and say my kids are now at this time 6 and 10, and then here they are seeing their parents not talking to each other, we arguing, we fighting. When we spoke, all we did was argue. How would I have been helping my kids? What I've been showing my kids that this is normal. And I had to think about that and say, no, they're not going to see this level of dysfunction and then carry this around and go into adulthood believing that this is how partnerships are supposed to be. Mm-hmm. I had to show them different. And the thing is, I left my ex-husband 10 years ago. I've been single this whole time because, first of all, if I bring somebody back into my life and back to my home, it's got to be right because my kids are watching me. And I need them to see that, normalcy is good. This is what's supposed to happen. And, and like Regina, I talk to my kids and she'll tell you, I bounce a lot of topics and ideas off of her because to me, she's like mother superior. Like she's got 6 of them and they are awesome kids.
Damn.
Hoping to raise the same kind of kids. My oldest will be 16 in December and my baby will be 12. My biggest worry is my 16-year-old because he's a social media kid. All he do is scroll TikTok and he formulates his opinions is based on what he saw on TikTok. Like he believes in 50-50 and stuff like that and don't even know why. So I have to stay on that one and talk to that one and just kind of make sure that I'm raising normal people that will go out into this world and be good partners.
Now, let me ask you a question. You said he thinks 50-50. I'm not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong, not saying it's what I do or what nobody does. What's wrong with that? I'm just asking. Just a question. What's wrong with 50-50?
50-50 is very incorrect to me because men want to split the bill 50-50, but the woman come home because we working too, but we come home, we got the kids, we cleaning up. It ain't 50-50 at that point. It'd be like 1-10, -10 a lot of the times. But 50-50 is everything. It's not just the bills. I told my son, I said, your dad was a lot of things. One thing I didn't do, and I never demanded it. I didn't pay bills when we get. I worked. Now I paid bills to keep things current because he wasn't good with money. But I was like, he paid every bill, even down to the fact that he paid $10 a month for me to play a video game. But I don't demand that. And however things work in somebody's partnership is how it works with them. But when you say do it 50-50, it needs to really be 50-50. But it's not, I'm paying half the mortgage, half the cars, half the light bill, and then I got the kids, and I got to come here and cook, and I got to do dishes, and I got to mop these floors, and I got to make up the bed while the man goes to work, come home, pay the bills, and go back to work.
Well, I think 50-50, it means something different to different people. When I hear 50-50, I think whatever I need to do to make this thing work, I'm gonna do. Sometimes that might be 80% sometimes, and then sometimes it might be 20%. It kind of fluctuates in a marriage. And so when I hear
Based on the
50-50, I think
situation.
it's a partnership. It's situational. I could be real busy at work and so I'm an engineer, and so I might be working a lot right then, but later on it might be I'm not as busy. But we kind of make it work to get through. So when I think 50-50, I think that's just a partnership, and it fluctuates as it needed. But yeah, you got to have both parties putting in and willing to do whatever it takes to make it work.
And I think you should keep your woman happy. You should make sure that she's happy and she feels comfortable. So that's why I would always buy my ex-wife. I would buy her a new vacuum cleaner, a new stove, a new pot pans for her to cook. So she would be happy. Giving her what she needs and what she enjoys. A new pot.
You got it.
And you see why he divorced.
It all makes sense now. Yeah.
I agree with Sly. If she's gonna have to do all that, make sure she does it in style. Why not?
You gotta have top of the line, huh?
Gotta have top of the line pots, pans, and when she fold them sheets up, I need them things to be the best. I need them crisp, Casey. Now, if you don't like that, I don't know what to tell you. I guess you're gonna stay single.
Can't fold no sheets.
I know you can't fold sheets. Well, your
I'm sorry, I can't fold 50
70-30.
For the sheets to be put up cute because I can't fold 50 sheets. I've not reached that level of adulthood yet.
I'm gonna tell you what, you asking for a whole lot not to be able to fold a fitted sheet, baby. Man. I'm just telling you. If you can't fold that fitted sheet,
that's why I'm still single.
Exactly. I'm seeing that. But I'm gonna hold judgment, you know how that goes.
Hey, I don't know what life y'all living, but the woman only could do the cooking and cleaning and all that stuff. That ain't realistic. Everybody got to chip in. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. She may do more of that than I do, but it ain't like I'm never cleaning up, never cooking, all that stuff. So I mean,
you a human. You got to survive too.
Yeah, I mean, we try to help each other out, and make it happen.
All right. Now another thing, we talk about respect. What's some points we can take back to other brothers to what are some ways you want to feel we lack on respecting you guys or you gals? How can we respect you gals more, or what can we do to show just as me, not as your man, just the man. Go ahead, LeBron. What's it?
No. Go ahead. I was going to wait till you finish. Go ahead.
Oh, well, not me as your man. Me as just a man walking down the street. What can we do to show that respect level or make you feel comfortable? Make you feel comfortable.
Let me add on to that. And
hey, hold on 1 second. Regina, tell that dude to stop kissing on you. That's why y'all already got 6 of them now. Tell him stop that.
Number 7 on the way.
I'm telling you.
Hey, but now, and I need to add to that. Do you feel like women are giving men something and enough to respect? Do you deserve that respect? Not you as in general now, because I know you do, and so does Regina. But in general, as women, are y'all giving us something to respect, or y'all just saying that we should give you that because you are a woman or a woman of color?
I think you should give it as humans, like all humans, regardless of their gender or race. And I think that it has more to do, I think maybe it's the reaction to things. Like, and Stacey could probably attest to that a little more than me. But like sometimes it's the way men react to things. Like, I don't know, Stacey mentioned the whole Megan Thee Stallion thing where everybody's like, oh, she's big, she can take care of herself. No, she's still a person and shouldn't be shot. Like it's kind of that thing. And I know that is an outlier. Again, that is not the norm because we all not, famous people with millions of dollars. Hey, dog. And
Hold on 1 second. 1 second. You about to make me get off on my tangent right here. This whole Meg Thee Stallion thing. Meg Thee Stallion a rapper. Every rapper want to be shot. All of them want to talk about they got shot. She got shot. Now she officially a rapper. A lot of people mad at the Meg Thee Stallion jokes. But if Drake got shot in the foot, there would have been way more jokes and funny stuff about Drake being shot in the foot. So if you want equal rights ain't fair sometimes. Sometimes it sucks to be equal.
You're on mute.
You're on mute. You're muted.
I know the children all came in.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to quiet. I'm trying to get them quiet first.
Okay. Well,
they Slide
nobody wants to be shot.
To your point, Slide, though, even though, we say the 50-50 women are just as equal, independent, or whatever, women are still considered somewhat of, we have to kind of protect or they're, compared to a man, a man actually hurting a woman is still a taboo.
Yeah.
And it's looked upon as, negative,
Well, I don't want you to think I agree with that dude shooting her now. That's fucked up. I mean,
I'm just saying why, she got the reaction she did, oh, y'all can't make jokes and not pick on her, because, she's a woman, she got hurt by a man. And that's just it's not okay in our society, Versus a man, we can take it. We as a man, we supposed to be able to take it, because we're men, we're masculine, it's kind of part of our DNA, but women is just a little different.
Oh, do y'all feel protected by women?
Well, yeah, I mean, do you say, do we feel protected? That's one thing I can say. Every black woman I know goes hard for black men. It ain't no question. When you look at all these marches and all this Black Lives Matter, all of this, it's always a woman on the front line marching hard for black men. So it ain't no question to me whether or not black women go hard for black men. But my only problem is, and Stacey does this a lot. Stacey will say all. When she makes these comments, she says all black men.
Yeah.
And that bothers the hell out of me when Stacey says all. Go ahead and put some in front of that. Don't put all, because we ain't all that way.
Let me add a little bit to that, Slide. I was talking to my wife about this earlier today, and I was like, it's kind of like a never-ending cycle type of thing. So you got a bunch of single mothers because of whatever situation, in their past, or the man not doing what he's supposed to do. But then you got they baby their sons up, and they teach their daughters to be super independent, and then the cycle just continues because you're not teaching your son to be a man. You giving him everything that he needs and wants and all this stuff, and not teaching him the responsibility, but you making sure your daughter is that strong black woman, and then that don't coincide when they get grown. And then you got a man that still act like a boy. Then you got a mature, independent woman here, and then they meet up, and you can't jive. It's that cycle going over and over again that they're kind of talking about, that the men don't want to take care of them because they was raised to be taken care of by a woman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So that goes back to the household examples.
Yeah.
That goes back to setting, you know, putting your child in the best situation, ain't babying them, or trying to make what the world did wrong, trying to make it right. I think we need to start teaching them that, you know, things are going to happen. Everything is not going to be rosy and peachy. We got to teach them how to overcome adversity, man, because like you said, if you don't, then you have these young men out here that can't fend for themselves, that don't know how to stand on 2 feet, and that we end up having women taking care of them. So that starts at home, seeing mom and dad or whomever is the caregiver doing it the right way. That's what I meant by having that example at home.
And I agree with that 100% because there's, like I said before, there's too many people who don't know how to deal with negative emotions. They don't know how to deal with rejection. They don't know how to deal with disappointment. And so it can't be a girl turns you down, FBs, and, you know, she ugly anyway. Like, that's the wrong, but too many people, like, and you're right, a lot of mothers do it. They'll say, oh, you know, she ain't worth it. No way. No, she just doesn't like your son. And that's okay. It's okay for someone to not like your son. He's precious to you. And you only. Everybody else, he's just a regular fella. But they don't teach them that. And then you end up with these guys who have these really intense emotions that they don't know how to deal with. And then we end up in negative situations. And women feeling like they're not respected because of the way men are coming back at them when they reject them.
So do you think men have become more sensitive because they're being raised that way, or the fashion they've been raised?
No, I don't think it's sensitivity. I think, you know, everybody's feelings are hurt when they're rejected. That's not about, it's just they don't have the tools or the knowledge to deal with those feelings. I think anybody, even if you're the nicest guy in the world, most respectful women, if you're rejected, I'm sure it's going to hurt your feelings anyway. But it's how you respond.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to deal with it. Add on to what you just said, like in the choosing the man, you know, like I see this all the time, especially like in your teenage years, early 20s, you know, girls go for the guy who, the dope boy, the bad boy, the, you know, most popular guy, and then they don't really treat him, you know, the way they want to be treated. And it's a guy out here that are in love with him, the nice guy. They don't want no parts of him. Then, you know, in your 30s, when the dope boy in jail and the nice guy, a lawyer or something like that, then they want to get with that guy when they got, you know, 12 kids and 17 baby daddies and stuff like that. Then the guys don't want nothing to do with them. Then, you know what I'm saying? That's a cycle too. It's just you got to learn how to like the guy who like you, or like somebody who's caring and compassionate, I guess, instead of just the popular guy or the bad boy type of deal. You know, y'all see that situation?
I'm 50% because it ain't about liking who likes you. You know, you just have to know that. Kind of going back to the independent thing. A woman being independent shouldn't intimidate a man. I am independent. I can handle everything myself. I can keep my world running. But I'm in a relationship with someone who loves me and appreciates me. He's also independent. Neither of us need each other to survive. We both choose to be together. And because it's a choice, there's no necessity. We're not dependent upon each other. Then we can both be whole people in our relationship. I think a dependent person is far scarier. Like, I don't want to be with somebody who needs me, and I'm not going to need anybody else. We're both independent. So I think part of it is how you define these things. To me, independence is a good thing. It means I'm capable of being an adult in the world. He is also capable. We can come together and be great. But if we needed each other, then it would be off kilter. It would never work. To me, that's how I look at it.
Stacey, you got anything on that?
Yeah, like my independence was forced. I left my ex-husband in 2010, but it shouldn't be imitating, because my independence is solely that I have a household to run. I've got kids I got to feed. I like to eat dinner every night, you know, so the independence really shouldn't be confused as what they say in the nursing world, activities of daily life. but it shouldn't be intimidating, you know. But it's like I said earlier, if we're together and we're in a partnership and we're figuring this thing out together, and he's in there, this bear. Sorry, we're dog sitting, and one dog thinks he's a horse. If we're in a partnership and we agree that this is what we're going to do, just be consistent. I can fall back. I can go from being independent to dependent if I needed to, but we should be able to operate independent and operate together as well. That way, if something happened to you tomorrow, our ship will still float and we're going to be fine. And so at no point should that ever be intimidating.
Well, my question was, do you think that early in the young ages, do y'all make a bad choice on who y'all choose to date as a man? And then as you mature, you figure out that that's probably one of the type of person that you need to be with, and then it's kind of too late sometimes. Because it's a percentage of good people and percentage of bad people. So you ain't got so many chances, I guess, in life.
I don't think somebody literally sits down and says, yeah, I want that dope boy from over there. Listen, people be good at people can put it on, and you know, like I said, I got married young. I got married at 20. I had been with my ex-husband since we started dating. I was 16, and we got married at 20. And I'm a year older than him, and he a good actor. He didn't start showing them true colors until we got 7, 8, 9, 10 years into us being together. We've been together since 99. He come the first kid in 2004, and stuff getting a little weird. You know, I didn't see any of it.
One side of the story.
Is that actor? Is he been an actor, or did he change? You know, I mean, that don't mean he was like that the whole time.
It was being an actor. I've learned over these years. I said, now we're in this co-parenting. We had the same 2 children. But we, you know, he started to get sloppy, and I would find out that he'd been cheating on me since we were in high school. I would find out, you know, over a decade later. So he did a lot of hiding until he got to a point where he didn't care, and he fell in love with the person that he's married to. You know, at that point, that's when he stopped caring. He stopped trades.
Okay, get on about your business.
You know, it wasn't a decision. I married my ex-husband because I was in love with him. I thought he was in love with me, but I was in love with him. So it wasn't even so much a decision. And I don't think anybody makes a decision consciously and just says, "Yeah, I want that drug boy over there."
Actually, I'm gonna stop you there because people do actively go after the dope boys, and it is very true. I used to be in my 20s one time. That was not my life, but that was the life of many people. But I think that most people in their late teens, early 20s, maybe even their mid 20s, choose the wrong people in general. I don't think people have enough, most people, not everyone, have enough life experience to know what's good for them in the long term. They're thinking about what's attractive to you now. You know, your prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed till you're like 25 anyway. So young people are impulsive and very visual, and they go after things they like. But I think with maturity makes you know what you need. Like, you want what you want when you're young, but then you mature later. With that being said, I also think that we do a terrible job of dating in this generation. Like, I tell my daughters and my sons that you don't have a boyfriend first. Like, first you get to know him, then you go on some dates to see if you actually even like him. You don't need to jump to the serious part first. But it feels like in the late, I'm sorry, hold on one second.
A lot going on over there in the background. Something we can kind of dwell in, because we're running a little bit late on time. Stacey, we kind of like to keep this thing up under an hour, or right around an hour. We don't want to run too many people off, but I do enjoy the conversation that we're having. I want to kind of get you guys' thoughts, you know, toward the end of this, on what we can do. If you had a message to the Black man, what can we do to become a better Black man and better protect you, better respect you, to get Stacey from stop saying all the bullshit on Facebook.
I think most Black men do a great job of speaking up. I think that y'all just have to be louder than the ignorant ones, you know, for the most part. I mean, I think Black men are great, but and not, like I said, I feel protected, and my daughters, I feel like my daughters are for the most part safe. But I think that maybe sometimes your type of voices, even though they're the majority, like you said, we always hear that kind of negative little voice rising to the top, and it's the loudest one, and it's not representative of who you guys are, which I think is unfair to y'all too, because I don't think most men are terrible. But I would say when you see your fellow men out of line, then it should be men that step up and check him, not the women. Because if a man feels that way and then women check him, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Women hate men, and then they're like, well, we hate you because of this. But no, it should be men. Like, men should be the one checking men, to me, not the women.
Well, I think that does happen, but I think a lot of people use social media as like the gospel or something like that. I only use it as entertainment. I don't make very many comments. I'll show my kids playing ball, or picture of me and the wife going out or something every once in a while, but I'm not on there talking to everybody. The negative people are the ones who usually do the most on social media. So I think if people don't take social media as the real life, real world type of thing, we'll be in a better space. But unfortunately, people really take that like it's a very important part of their life.
Now, what about you, Stacey? What would you say to the brothers out there?
In addition to what Regina said about men speaking up, because definitely it shouldn't be on the labor of women as well, but it also falls into listen to us. And some of the stuff that we may say may not be easy to hear. Just like sometimes the things that men say may not be easy to us, but we recognize, what's going on. But listen to us and try to empathize with us, because we do have a lot against us, and just like Black men do too. Contrary to belief, I don't hate Black men. I actually really love Black men. But just that's really the most important thing, is listen to us and let us say it, because it may make sense. I say you may not like to hear it. It might be hard to hear. Truth hurts, but just listen.
Wow, just listen. I mean, I appreciate what I've heard, what I've learned today, man. And like I said in the beginning, we want to use this as a learning tool. We want to use this as a learning tool to make us better men, and hopefully we can go and speak to other men, to make them better men also. And I appreciate you ladies for joining us. I really do. I appreciate getting the insight. I give Stacey hell a lot on Facebook. I give her hell, but I give her hell because I know, I don't talk to Stacey too often in real life. But like I say, I know Stacey since she was a little girl, and so to me, she always gonna be that little girl in my head. In my head, she gonna always be that little girl. So, but I do appreciate the stuff that she says and how she says it. She brings a really valuable voice. And so that's one of the reasons we wanted y'all two on here, so we could learn something tonight. Before we get out of here, Chance, you got any shots, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Hey, just I guess from what they're talking about, men, y'all step your game up. I guess the good man, it is a responsibility to teach our younger brothers to be responsible, respectful men as well. So, it's everybody's job to pitch in this world. So let's make that happen.
What about you, Scott?
So yeah, good conversation. I do just want to say that kind of later in life, I've kind of become more conscious, and I grew up in a single parent household. My mom raised me for the most part. So, I've always had that respect for women. I've seen how hard my mom worked. So, little things like we just need to be more considerate. I think of our Black women. And I think it would be helpful if we could kind of learn to be more emotionally considerate and sensitive. I think that'll probably improve a lot of relationships moving forward. But yeah, for all the guys, black guys out there, just be more considerate. You know, little things open the door for our ladies, and just support them. You know, any way you can. So yeah.
JK, pardon shots.
Yeah, I would say I agree with Stacey. I think it all starts with listening. I think both parties listening to what females have to say, and the females also listen to what the guys have to say. Because you got, at the end of the day, we all were raised differently. We all came up in different households. We all saw different things, and so the first part is in understanding is listening. And so I think if we listen and try to understand, that's how we can meet each other on the same playing field.
What about you, educator?
Man, let's get back to chivalry, man. Let's get back to the small things. A lot of ladies are not looking for the big things, and they like nice things, shiny things, cars, toys, and all that. But let's get back to the small things of opening the doors and saying nice things, leaving little good morning messages on the table or in their inbox or emails. Just small things that make them have a good day, and they'll do that in return for us.
All right. Well, we want to thank all of you all for joining us today here on the RIP 28 podcast. We want to thank our two great and beautiful guest hosts, guest panelists today. Once again, this is the RIP 28 podcast. The RIP 28 podcast. You can make sure. I want to make sure everybody out there, that you can follow us on our different social media platforms. You can follow us on Twitter, RIP28 Podcast, Facebook, Instagram, and for those of you listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, make sure you click the subscribe button. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about us here on the RIP 28 podcast. And we'd like to let you know that the RIP 28 podcast, we are a spot where men can say a couple of things, get a few things off our chest, but we're also a spot where we can listen to some of the things that the women have to say. So it's a spot we're going to say some things you might like. We're going to say some things that you might not like, but we're going to keep on saying whatever needs to be said here on the RIP 28 podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you into me, hope you understand I am not your enemy, nor will I pretend to be. I got these